I'm going up. This is sort of my favorite walk to do directly from where I live, you know. I actually have a more favorite walk. Oh, this is so beautiful, but if you want to make hierarchies of walks, up on the ridge, you know, which I've done videos up there before and camp up there quite a bit, but I love going up there. But if I just want to go somewhere straight from where I live, this is where I go. It's just basically out the front door and then across the road and up we go. And where I'm sitting now, you got a nice view of the mountains. I love to sit here and have a drink of water and look at the view that's emerging. And yeah, it's great. This is my first time up here in quite a long time, actually. Geez, a few months at least, maybe 3 months. Wait a minute. September, October, September. Yeah, 3 or 4 months. So it's great to be back up here. This is a nice spot to stop because it's, the climbing up from here is very steep, starting off, quite steep. And then once I hit the ridge just up here, and I'm about 2/3 of the way, and well, there's still some steep spots, but it's going to start to level out a bit. So I'm about 2/3, so it's a good time to stop and rest, and also feels good because the worst of it is sort of over. Not that it's bad, but my technique is never go so fast that I have to breathe in through my mouth. It's okay to breathe out through my mouth, it's my rule, but not in. So if I start breathing heavy like that, I just slow it down, step by step. Yeah, anyway, it's a gorgeous day, you know. There's a bit of clouds in the sky. They're forming up to the, where are we now? To the north. Yeah, it started out pretty clear today, but I brought a kind of raincoat with me just in case, but I highly doubt that it'll rain. But I'm prepared if it does. And yeah, it's a nice temperature. It's pretty warm actually, but for here it's cool now, you know. I'd be surprised if it was even 22 degrees yet, right where I am. But I'm kind of sweating though, because I've just been walking. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know what to say. Probably this video might be more just less me talking and more just the views and the sounds of the birds. And right now it's mostly birds. Yeah. Yeah, mostly birds. Oh, there's a butterfly. And the ridge is so beautiful. It's, I don't know the history of it really, but it feels like there's a lot of ancient trees up there, you know. And the other thing is, I've been here 6 years, exploring these trails. And one thing that I do know is that when you go up on top of a ridge here, quite often you'll find a trail of some sort, you know. And ooh, wow, that's a beautiful butterfly. Maybe it'll come here. Can you see it? Oops, let's flip it. Hard to see, eh? There it goes. Whoop. Come on. Oh well, whatever. Anyway. Flitting from place to place, that butterfly is. Yeah, so, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the ridges. Yeah, I often find a trail on the ridges. And I have like on my phone and I have this, my friends gave me a tablet last year. So I like to use that to mark routes and things with. I use this GPS mapping system called Gaia GPS. Works out well. So anyway, I don't usually use it for when I go hiking for, you know, navigation because I kind of know, right? But certainly when I go through new trails, I'll just mark them. So I have a record of them, and if I need to remember, I can. But yeah, so the ridges, interesting. Well, it makes sense to me that the ridges would have trails on them because, you know, lower down the bush is so dense, right? Like you'll see when I get up there, you could just kind of walk anywhere, mostly, right? There's some limitations, but when you're down at the bottom here, just walking straight through the bush on those steep hills, and it's just like, yeah. I'm not gonna say you couldn't do it, but yeah, better not to. Better to take a trail. But up there, you know, you could go just wander the ridges for a lot of it anyway. And I love off-trail hiking, right? I used to do that in Canada all the time. And you get to really know the land there that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, all the things, how can I phrase it? It feels like it a little bit removes the person, removes me, I will just say, but I imagine it's pretty applicable to many. Like using a GPS really separates you from the land. Like, you know what I mean? It's really easy to use a GPS just to guide you somewhere. Not so easy up in the forest, right? Because canopy and trails aren't really marked, you know, but on a road, certainly you can be guided by the voice, right? In 200 meters, please turn left. But even using GPS as your guidance, it certainly is useful when you need it, but if you can stay away from it, I think is good. And the same with maps, actually. I mean, maps take more skill to use, right? But they're a little bit less invasive, maybe you could say. And then, you know, when you know a place, a land, then you kind of have a feel for the rhythm of the land and the rhythm of this landscape, I guess, and the hills and how things kind of work. So you can start to presume things. It doesn't always work out the way you presume it, but a lot of times I find it does. And then, so then you can walk along a trail and have a sense. But as soon as you go off trail, I find all of a sudden the senses are more awake, right? Because you really need to be aware of where you are and where you're going and where you've been, right? So yeah, I don't know, just observations, right? Mind you, like I walked up a trail all the way up here, and today it's just a casual 4-hour walk. So I'm just gonna walk along the ridge, and there's a trail there, and I'll walk down along another trail down into the main village, which is over there. And but just to get up here, you know. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to talk, but now I'm talking too much. But I've been working on this composition project, so my goal was yesterday to get all the bits that I had planned for this week done so I could have today to get up here, and I managed to do that. So anyway, I think I'll have some water, and then I'll continue on, and we'll see what happens next. Ugh. I think I'll just go sit down here for a minute. Whew. Oh yeah. Whew. There we go. Oh yeah, so the person that right where I am here, I'm pretty much at the top of the ridge just in front of my house. It climbs higher, but for this section, kind of at the top. And there's a person, or a couple, I'm not sure, that have coffee trees and tea trees here. It's all grown under the forest, eh? Like, you could walk through the forest and not even know they're there if you don't recognize them. So there's no clear cutting of the forest to grow coffee and all that here. It's quite great, actually. So now I think it was the king decades ago that suggested coffee growing as a way to generate cash money, you know. Anyway, that could have been the beginning of that. Anyway, so we're up near top. I'm just gonna have a little rest, and I'll continue on. Oh, so yeah, I was gonna say, this shelter I'm in now is a fairly new one, and there's another one that I just passed down there. I can't remember if I showed it on the video. And this is their new one. It's really, it looks like, if you look at it, see the trail coming in? It's really wide, eh? That's probably for bringing a motorbike up, like a small motorbike. And the trail I'm going to take down goes above the waterfall. It's also motorbikeable, although I wouldn't be taking my motorbike on it. No, not me. Look, these have all been planted. This is the little trail. Look, they planted flowers on the edge. So beautiful, eh? Yeah, all along. You know, why not add some beauty to life even when you're, you know, picking tea leaves and stuff? Yeah. It looks like you've got them all the way along the trail. Just so it's clear. The person that has these coffee trees and tea trees, it's just him, and quite often it'll be the man's wife too that work it together, or just whatever. It's a mixture of things, but it's definitely not like some rich person and their semi-slaves harvesting the tea leaves like you'll hear from some other places, right? It's their field. It's their, not field. It's their thing, you know. It's their. I don't even know if it's their land exactly, right? Because this is kind of parkland. Maybe what in Canada we might call crown land, you know. Not really owned by anyone, but obviously has permission to use it, and probably, who knows, right? They might have been working this for decades, if not over a century. I have no idea, right? But my main point is, the people working here, that work up here, right? From Mekampong, it's just their place. It's their life, right? Just living their life large, I'd say. You know what I mean? Not beholden to a boss or anything. I would say that's more or less how it works. But I don't know, you know, it's hard for me to get all the details because of language issues. And, you know, I can have nice conversations for sure, but I don't really need to speak much. The people up here know me, right? They know that I come up here and walk, and that is unusual. Especially for Falun, right? For a foreigner. Anyway, for anyone just to wander up here, it's a bit unusual, I guess. Anyway, yeah. So that's the story of that, eh? It's really great. Yeah, that went out the window, didn't it? Yeah, so I'll walk and talk. How's that sound? You can see the view behind me. Yeah, so my second year, I guess, I was asked by Pisutam, who's she's been like my friend right from when I got here, and she's good friends with Kungung and Piad, who own the house I live in. And so Pisutam, P means older, and Kun means kind of, it's just a nice thing to say, right? Kungung, Kun cat. P means older, Nong means younger. But anyway, so someone that's older, I usually say like Pisutam, Piad. It's part of the Thai way. And anyway, so yeah, so Pisutam asked me if I wanted to come up here, right? And I don't have to, but I do, and basically it pays for my water, right? So it used to be I would just come and then I wouldn't have to pay the water, which is not much. It's like 300 baht a year. It's $12 or $10 American a year. Anyway, but you know, it helps, right? I live on really low income here. But the best part, I was so like, I loved it because, like it's a little bit like I'm part of the community, right? I'm not really, because I'm separate, right? It's just the way it is. But I'm a little bit part of it, and by coming up here with everyone, and we just have a great time, and yeah, it's usually just the day, right? And have our lunch, and I don't know, I love it. It's pretty tired by the end of it, I'll tell you that, but yeah, so it's really touched this piece of time. Asked me, and I didn't have to, but I would have to like pay 300 baht for someone else to do it or something. Anyway, I don't know how that worked really, but there's no way I wasn't going to do it. First year I couldn't because I was injured, falling through the roof. Anyway, yeah, so every year I've been doing that and managed to come up every time, you know. And yeah, look at that. Eh? Where are we now? Can you see the mountain? It's hard to see the mountains. Anyway, yeah, so this is the trail that we sweep. And this is how I discovered it too, right? So I discovered the ridge here. And, well, I didn't discover it. It was already, well, I guess discovering it is kind of a personal discovery. It wasn't like a worldwide discovery, of course. Anyway, so then I learned about, we'll just say I learned about this ridge, and that's sort of where I started learning about all the other paths and ways and things, and yeah. Yeah,
You have to be a bit careful going through the bush because you could trip on stuff, snakes, etc., etc. You know, all that good stuff. It's just so beautiful. It's two trunks going up and supporting each other, you know? No, I don't know. Is it two trees or is it one tree with two trunks? And does it matter? But the beauty is that they're like married, you know? They love each other, maybe, you could say. But I think it also, you know, gives us a window into, trees aren't, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. The trees aren't, they're just not individual things that grow out of nowhere, right? Like they communicate with each other. It's well known now that they communicate through, is it mycelium, through the root systems and all that? Communicate, help, fight each other, you know? All that stuff. Okay, now, this little bit here, it's amazing. It's a bit of a flat spot. Flat spots are few and far between in this part of the world, I'll tell you. Boy, it'd be nice to have a little house here. I'd love that. Live up here. Kind of a long walk to go home, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, my main point in this part is right here. If I tuck down this way, I'll end up right where, you know, at some point I'll connect it into a little trail and end up where I go to collect my water. And some people watching this might know that I walk halfway up a road, halfway up a trail, up the mountain, and get my water from a really great spring. and do these water walk videos. What's that? Oh, it's a little cliff. See that right in the center? I don't know if you can see it. I just had a thought about this walk and this trail and this ridge. It's like an old friend, you know? Come up here, go visit my old friend. That's how it really feels. Ish. Gotta look where I'm going. Might lose an eye. Spend a few hours with an old friend. What could be better? And you know, from here, I think today, I guess I'll head down. I could go back the same way. Sometimes I do that. But today I'm gonna tuck down above the waterfall and wander down to the village, and there's a nice shop that has some pretty nice khao soi. Which is a really classic northern Thai dish, like noodles and coconut milk, and it's really delicious. I'll have the beef, I think, if they have it. And it's not too expensive, 50-60 baht, $2, $2.5 in those other currency. Yeah, I do that and wander through the village. It's kind of a holiday today, sort of. I think it's kind of a tourism encouragement holiday, because I've heard some places aren't. It isn't, but we'll see how. It's probably pretty busy in the village. It's busy all the time right now, coming into the high season, and you know, COVID, like I've said on other videos, COVID was hard on this village for about a month and a half, and then it just went crazy. It's like everyone in Thailand's coming up. You know what I mean? So it's like, anyway, like all the homestays are full, all the restaurants are full, even during the height of the rainy season. Anyway, I'll just keep videoing here. This is probably gonna be a long video, I guess, but I'll just keep videoing because I'm gonna tuck into. Oops, sorry. Get dizzy from watching this video. One of these days, I gotta get one of those things that it's like a steady cam thing. One day. Yeah, so here, oh, there's a little shelter there. There used to be a shelter right here. And, you know, they break them, they fall apart and they rebuild them, I guess. But my main point is from here, I'm going to tuck off to the left here, but I could continue up here, up the hill here. And that would take me up to Qfin, up on the ridge. Can you see it a little bit? That's not really Qfin there in the center, but it's on the way. Yeah, so I could go up to Qfin. I'm going to show you my new leggings. These are deerskin, brain/smoke tan deerskin. I have them tucked up at the moment. Normally I sort of fold them down so it's a bit lower. Yeah, they're nice, eh? I had a tunic I made out of deerskin. Deerskin. I used to do quite a bit of deer tanning. But the tunic was just, I thought, oh geez, I'm never gonna wear this. It's really beautiful. But anyway, I took it apart. I still have some pieces, you know, I can use for some other things, but most of it went into these leggings. And the leggings I use a lot, so it was a good idea. Gave me something to do with my hands, right? I really have to do that. Like right now, I really want to make a bogu bag. Bogu is like the kendo equipment, protective equipment, you could call it. But I really want to make a traditional one out of some leather, so I'm just waiting. I can't afford the leather right now, but hopefully maybe in the new year. Anyway, my main point is, like right now I'm doing some composition work, right? It's quite a big project actually, and I love doing it, but I need to do something with my hands, right? Because
a lot of it's like recording and working on my computer, mixing and editing and doing all kinds of stuff like I usually do, like I used to do a lot of. So that's great, I love it, but I can only do so much in one day, right? And I find it really helpful if I can sit down and do something with my hands, right? Super grounding. Oh, I'm going to show you this.
This is the hillside. So, right there, look at that. Those are coffee plants, right? And they're all scattered throughout there. Like probably a lot of people would just walk through here and not notice, right? Because you look, it just looks like part of the landscape, and it is part of the landscape. As far as I know, at least the way they do it here, the coffee trees don't cause any harm, and in a similar way, the tea trees don't. I think there's tea trees down there, like right in the center. I think is one. I know that's familiar. I mean, I get the tea trees mixed up with other trees, which I guess feels silly, but anyway, the coffee trees are really easy to point out. Maybe it's because I drink more coffee than tea. I have more of an vested interest in them. Anyway. So here, you see this trail? In the mountains here, this is really a highway. Like even I could ride my motorbike up here, right? It's a street bike, but it's so wide. Coffee tree area. I'm gonna keep filming because there's this really gorgeous old tree coming up. It's like a mama tree, you know? And it's hollow inside, but still alive. Oh, we're in the dark jungle now. It looks bright on the screen, but it's actually darker. The exposure is adjusted. So someone would have cut all this, eh? This would have been cut down. But that's a lot of work. Not for me, thank you. It's a nice big banana tree there. Here's the tree coming up. See it? There it is. It's huge. And look at the width of it here. And just in a second or two, I'll swoop around, you can see. There we go. See that? Let's see, there's a little ladder someone made to climb up. Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Now very, very dark and orange cloth around it. That's like a monk's holy cloth, I guess you could say. I showed you some patches that were stuck on trees on the way down, and a lot of times they'll wrap trees with cloth, and I think it's had a funny association with it. It's sort of like, my interpretation is it's just like, hey, keep your hands off. No cutting, sacred tree. But then I remembered, this is a real tangent, but I remember when I was young, like grade 7, I guess. I just can't believe how stupid. Anyway, there was this, one of the teachers on his car had a bumper sticker that said, "Mafia staff car, keep your hands off." Keep in mind, this is the 70s, right? Things weren't so politically correct then. Anyway, Mafia staff car, keep your hands off. Anyway, that's what I thought of. And I'm pretty sure we decided that the teacher wasn't in the mafia. But for a moment there, well, I'm gonna sit down here before I head down to the village. But for a moment there,
we were like, do you think he's part of the mafia? Like, you know, it's written down, it must be true kind of thing. Anyway, pretty sure he wasn't. Okay, I'm not sure if this will be the end of this video, but it might be. And if so, thanks for tagging along on my journey up the mountain today, and sure is a nice day, and hope everyone's doing well over there. I know there's a lot of COVID stuff going on. It seems very complex, you know. So I'm picking off burrs. I have the kilt on today, right? I love to hike and it's great. If it's cool enough, it's fine. But it catches burrs like you wouldn't believe. Anyway. Okay, so thanks again, and à la prochaine, and see you on the flip side. Ciao. Okay, here, look at this. I'm on the road now, heading down the village. Whew. Oh, here comes the car. Oh! Sawadee-ka! Sunuk chai mai? Yeah, anyway, so this is the edge, but look at this. Boom. Okay, so that bit was just like this bit. So that was a big landslide that came down at some point, maybe during that last rain. I haven't been on this road up here in about a month. And you can see where it was swept down here. They cleared the road, of course. And you can see the tree branch on the wires. You can see that brought the pole down a little. And what do we got in here? So the plows and whatnot would have just pushed all the gravel down there, all the sand and stuff, whatever it is, gravel, sand. Yeah, cool too. Look, that would have been something. Little miniature hoodoos, right? This is how hoodoos are formed. Okay, there's hoodoos in Banff. I sort of know about hoodoos from there. But you see, on top of each column is a stone. If you look carefully, on top of each column is a stone, and so the water comes down and erodes everything around the stone, and what's left is the hoodoo, right? Amazing. Amazing. Perfect example of how it works. So it works in tiny like that, and big. Oh yeah. Just so you can get an idea of how busy it is on a holiday. Oh, sawadee ka. What you no? Tại chân đun đôi. Hello, sawadee ka.
สวัสดีค่ะไปกินกาแฟกันปะ
Oh,
มากาแฟร้านแมวอยู่ไหนมา
oh wow. Japan might die. Look out, look out. But the dogs know the cars, eh? Okay, I'm gonna go right after this one.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, สวัสดีค่ะ
Oh, Sanjay.
อ๋อไม่เป็นไรไม่เป็นไรขอบคุณค่ะใช่
โค้ดเดี๋ยวมาโค้ดเอาให้
Okay. This is a little bit different than my hike, eh? I'm gonna have to talk close. It's noisy, but it's a good example of even when it's really busy. The place where I live is tucked away anyway, so it's never feels busy there. Like you can see cars going up and down the road. Chai. Whoa. Crazy บ้ามากเนอะใช่ขอโทษค่ะโอเคโชคดีนะ Yeah, okay, so, but you know, even at its busiest time, going up the mountains, it's like no one around. So that's a really great blessing, you know, because the tourists come up, and these are all local tourists, like from all over Thailand. And yeah, sawadee ka, sawadee mai. Anyway, brave souls challenging the cars. Yeah, so anyway, this might be the last one, we'll see. But yeah, so it's great. I can just hop up in the mountain and be all totally mad. See, the thing is, I guess it's not the last one. The thing is that there's nowhere to park. Everyone wants to drive up, but there's very few spots to park at. That's the issue. But they do have a service kind of. It's not too expensive, but you can park down the mountain and take a songtao, which are the pickup trucks with seats inside them. Take a songtao, which is definitely the best option, but I guess no matter what, on a busy holiday. See where I would have hiked up that edge. Here's a little parking spot, 50 baht. Doesn't usually back up all the way down here. It's probably backed up all the way to my place. Oh, fuck you. Looks like it's going right to the bottom. Wow. I'm not sure if everyone realizes that once you get to the main village, there's nowhere to park and it's totally stop and go.